because everything's on demand now and it's available at the touch of a button, nobody has any patience anymore.
Exactly.
And it's like, I was talking to a member on the way here today, who was on the phone, and he was like, right, I've done all the training, I'm buzzing, I'm raring to go, I've got some really good ideas. I was like, okay, like you just said, let's talk about the ideas. So he talked out the idea, what the product was. I was like, it's a great product, sounds really, really good. Right, what's the next step? Order it, play with it, use it for a few weeks, find out if it's a good quality product that you're going to be happy to stand behind and say, yeah, do you know what, I'm proud to say this is my product.
Because we know that's we know that's the outcome. So like just before this podcast, when I sat over there next to you, James, and I showed you Ryan's message, what was it, 600,000, how much it profit?
600 grand deal with a 450k profit.
450,000 profit.
Buzzing.
I know.
But did we sit there really surprised? Did we go, oh my God, wow, oh my God. We know he's built the brand correctly. He's taken his time. And he's just closed a B2B deal worth 600k, 450 profit.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Yeah. So I think that's why we're seeing so many more members do so well now, because they're moving over to buying private labeling.
Yeah.
And they care a lot more. So when Anna says, right, you need to be doing this, they focus on just this. Where when it's drop shipping, it's like, oh, how long until I get the business out there? How long until I make money? And you're going to join that same group of people that sit there and watch YouTube videos and try and make money and by buying stores on Fiverr for 30 quid in 2 hours. Like we have to do it properly, but we're seeing that a lot more now. And we're at the best point ever in change at the moment. Thanks for coming on to this podcast, guys. Exciting topic we're going to talk about, which is trusting the process, talking about longevity, because as we all know, people want get rich quick schemes. That's the generation we live in. Everybody wants to make money overnight, but we know better when it comes to business. It's about trusting the process. If you look at every step that it takes to get from A to B, every step is a process. So just touching on trusting the process and longevity.
Yeah. I think... you're right. Everybody wants that get rich quick scheme. But for a business to really have that longevity, you've got to take your time with the startup. You've got to make sure that, we say it loads in the training, you've got to make sure your foundations are set correctly. So that means like taking your time from the get-go, to ensure that your business will have those correct foundations, to ensure that you maintain or you get the longevity out of the business. If you just start up and you just try and go at 100 miles an hour, you're going to miss something. You're not going to. There's going to be no real foundations to the business, and that business could come crumbling down at any minute. So what
I see a lot, James, is people come to me and they go, Ryan, I bought a store on Fiverr. And that store was like a 2-hour delivery time. So from the moment they paid, they received the store in 2 hours. And they're like, and I really need to get this going now. I really need to start making sales. And I'm like, what makes you think you're going to make sales from a business that took 2 hours to build? There's no branding behind it, Anna. There's nothing to the business. They're just hoping that they're just going to make loads of sales. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Or you'll get someone that says on social media, Ryan, can you really help me with my store? Can you just give me some tips so I can go away and make money? It's like, I wish I could send you one voice note and then you just go away and smash it and become a millionaire. I hope you could get that being a perfect scenario. But
I think the thing, like when you join Change, I think everyone's just so excited to be a part of it. And like, obviously they're joining the masterminds, the webinars, they're hearing the success stories. And it is like almost like a little kid. You just want to get going. So you want to rush the process. But like, obviously when I have my business plan scenes with everyone, I'm kind of like, calm down, right? Don't. And it's like they're thinking of, we'll talk about the first step that they need to do, and then they're already thinking like 6 months ahead. So what do I do when I do this? Oh, but I need to do that, I need to do this. And I'm like, no, just focus on this, don't worry about anything else. We have that before people join though. We get, right, Ryan, I'm now a member, I need to set up as a limited company. And I'm like, so what company are you setting up? You haven't even got a company. We haven't even found a product yet. We haven't even built a business. And I think it goes back to one of the, I think it was a webinar podcast we did not too long ago when we were saying people are planting obstacles in front of them. Oh, we actually did that in Beverly Hills in LA. That's it. And we were talking in that podcast, we were talking about people putting obstacles in front of themselves by saying, right, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do that. But you're talking about level 10 when we're on level 1.
And you're talking yourself out of the process. because you're like, well, I can't do this because I need to do this first. I need to do this first. And you're almost like taking yourself backwards.
Yeah.
And I think people want, not that they want results quick, like some people do, but people want everything to move quick because we do live in a fast-paced world now. Yeah. Like you order something, you can get Amazon same day delivery, you can get your shopping delivered the same, like, and everything is like going that way in the world. Yeah. So I think when it's a business, they're not seeing it as anything different. They're not seeing it as a project. And,
there's no patience. We've got to a point where with society, because everything is available at the touch of a button and it's there instantly on demand on a TV. We don't go Blockbuster Video anymore. You know,
I miss that.
Me too.
Oh, I know.
Like, I hate, but like, you used to be able to rent a PlayStation game, decide if I liked it before I went out and bought it. Now you don't have that choice.
On a Friday night, deliver back on a Monday. Get a little bucket of popcorn. I remember those days.
But this is because everything's on demand now and it's available at the touch of a button. Nobody has any patience anymore.
Exactly.
And it's like I was talking to a member on the way here today. He was on the phone. And he was like, right, I've done all the training. I'm buzzing. I'm raring to go. I've got some really good ideas. And I was like, okay, like you just said, let's talk about the ideas. So he talked out the idea, what the product was. I was like, it's a great product. Sounds really, really good. Right, what's the next step? Order it. Play with it. Use it for a few weeks. Find out if it's a good quality product that you're going to be happy to stand behind and say, yeah, do you know what? I'm proud to say this is my product. So order it, just to take your time, chill out, let's slow down.
The good thing with change members as well, which I always try to say to our members, is like, they're so lucky to have our support. It's not like they're trying to wing it themselves, like, you know, like you said, I need to rush this process and get that. They're
you need someone to tell you. Like, there's someone from experience saying like, okay, but let's focus on this
been
first.
through it, we've all done it, we've all made, you know, mistakes that they don't have to do. So they just need to trust what we're saying, which I think sometimes it is like they're so excited they just want to go. But I think like a big part of our roles is like calming people down and being like what we were just talking about earlier, the shipping times of when you get your product, staying patient, listening to what we say to do in those times and not getting ahead, because sometimes again we'll be on Zooms with members, we haven't spoke to them, we're like, I've got my website, and I'm like, oh well, okay, but you don't have a brand and you haven't tried your product. And they genuinely think I just need to run my ads and I'm going to make sales. And if it was like that, I mean...
This is why so many people fail in e-commerce. Because so many people that don't have mentors, that don't have people behind them to say, mate, you're trying to move too fast. You haven't done this. There's no one to tell them that. They're like, okay, I've done this in one day. Now I'm at the marketing stage. When you look at our average member joining with no experience, probably 2 to 3 months before they have a business out there, sometimes even longer, depending on the product research stage. So it's like, these people just don't have any clue, but it's because of like what you said, Tami, people are living in that society where, you know, they want everything right now. And I see it all the time. One of the main questions I get on social media is, Ryan, if I join, how long until I make money? Rather than Ryan, if I join,
what's the average time scale? Just a rough.
How long does I make money? Talk about straight to the point.
It depends on you.
So it's like everybody looks at the outcome, but they never look at the process. And unfortunately, as much as the world, you know, continues to develop, technology gets better. The business is always going to be a process. That isn't going to change. It's always going to be a process.
But this is it. Like, people are too focused on the end result rather than the journey that they're taking. And if they focused on the journey and just improving themselves and working on their business, rather than worrying about when am I going to make that much money to be financially free, plan that out. That might be a 5-year plan. That might be a 10-year plan. You know, like when people talk about a product, they go, right, I've got this great product idea. Brilliant. What else? Where are you going to go with the business after that product? What are you going to be able to continue to market in order to create the longevity in that business? What other products are you going to come out with? How are you going to release these to your customers over time? How are you going to gain those customers in the first place? It's all of those questions. And they go, didn't think about that.
It's having a game plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Having a game plan rather than I'm just looking at 1 month ahead. It's like, cool. Like I do, we all recommend cross each bridge as we come to it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not, so when someone says, Ryan, I need to register as a limited company, cool, but you haven't got a business yet. So we'll come to that when, you know, rather than overthinking, because a lot of people fail in e-commerce because they're trying to do 10 things at once, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
A steady 40 miles an hour, 5 days a week will get you over the finish line, then 100 miles an hour with 10 things to do every single day. So it's just simplifying the process and focusing on where you're at in the moment. Obviously having a game plan, having the steps, the small steps that take you to the big goal, but breaking those down and focusing on each step as you come to it.
Yeah, and making sure it's done properly and right. And when you look at our really successful members, what have they all got in common? They trusted the process. They did each stage properly and did it right first time.
Yeah.
Maybe some have had a longer journey, but also those people have had some of the best results that we've seen in the system.
One particular member, I won't say who they are, but they took their time with building the business and deciding on the products. They went back and forwards with suppliers. They had a whole load of different samples, backwards and forwards, kept getting it wrong, sending out new samples. And then they really, really took their time with building everything. And then when they went live, they did 10 grand in their first month.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Like,
I don't even know.
Because
I don't even know who that is because so many members make money. But like the thing is, we're not surprised with that. Yeah. So when we see people building their brands and correctly and building their store correctly and some trial and error and product testing, like James says, when somebody messages you and goes, they've done X amount, none of us ever sit there anymore and go, wow, really? Did they really? Because we know that's we know that's the outcome. So like just before this podcast, when I sat over there next to you, James, and I showed you Ryan's message, what was it, 600,000? How much?
600 grand deal with a 450k profit,
450,000 profit.
Buzzing.
But did we sit there really surprised? Did we go, oh my god, wow, oh my god? We know he's built the brand correctly. He's taken his time. He's just closed a B2B deal worth 600k, 450 profit. Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, because I said to you, I remember doing his when he first joined, and it's got to be a year ago.
Yeah,
I remember talking to him.
I can't remember. Was it a year ago? Okay.
Because I remember being out on a walking through the fields at lunchtime doing my DMs
as usual,
as I do. As I do.
But also, what I was going to say as well, I think a lot of people get itchy or worried when they hear a success story, when it is when they've been a member for 3 months or it might be 6 months, and then it's always after the masterminds I'm bombarded with messages or people booking in Zooms and they're like, I'm just really worried because I've been a member, there's someone else that's done it this quick, but it's going to be different with different products, different brands, I'm glad, your connections, how much investment.
It's just the brand that makes a difference.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to touch on that as well at some point about people comparing this. I've been getting it a lot recently from members, and I keep telling them, don't compare your journey with somebody else's, because one, they might be starting from a different position as you. They might be coming to us with a product in mind, or they might come to us with an existing business and we help them scale that business. It's not just about people starting from scratch. We've got this huge variety of members from all walks of life, and they all have different times that they can devote to running their business and to building their business. It's like, just concern yourself with your business, compare yourself to where you were last month. You mentioned baby steps earlier, didn't you? Long as even if you're just taking baby steps forward, that's the main thing, is that you are still moving forward. You don't
as long as you're not doing nothing.
Exactly.
You're moving forward.
The picture's always the same though, isn't it? It's like the people that take their time, trust the process, simplify the journey, are the ones that get the results.
Don't give up and start moaning to us.
But the only people that give up and moan are the people that aren't putting in the work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always the same, you know. But that's like anything. It's not just us. It's like the amount of people that moan about not having the body they want, or people that moan about not getting much sleep, and whatever it may be. You can moan about anything, but it's always the people that aren't doing the things to get those results. Do you know what I mean? But I think overall, what members now see within the system, within Change, is they're seeing the successful members and they're idolizing these members. They're like, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. And I absolutely love that, because that's how I started. So what we're seeing now is like the success rate is through the roof if you actually look at it in terms of members that have businesses, you know, it seems like everybody's making money. You're going to get the odd member that isn't making money, but that's probably because they only started yesterday. You know, launched their business yesterday, going through the trial and error period. And what you're saying there is, I see members compare themselves to other members who have been members for 3-4 years. They've been a member for 3 months. And it's like, how can you compare yourself to someone who's been here 20 times longer than you and put 20 times the amount of work in as you? You're not at that level. Stop comparing. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, if I put the work in, I'll get the same results as these guys that are making the big money. Yeah. That's all it is. Yeah. But it's simplifying the process.
It's also, though, when we get some members who say, like, I mean, we have these results where, you know, it's not the norm, but we do have the results where somebody's been with us 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And they're killing it. Yeah. Yeah. And then somebody that's been with us a year and says, how comes they're doing that? It's like, well, because they're trusting the process. They're doing the steps. They're not skipping stuff out. Yeah. They're not flitting from one thing to another.
Yeah, that's another thing, the flitting.
Yeah. From, it's like, you know, I've tried like 6-7 different products. Like,
this is a good message for non-members, because I think members understand all of this. Because they jump on Zooms with you regularly. They're always talking to you. They're always talking to me. Like, so we're quick to close that down. So if someone like you say flitters about, we're like, mate, focus on this. And it don't happen
like,
for long.
Like just now where I show you something and I was like, a member's just done this, and we were all like, we need to get on a Zoom with them, cut it off now.
But I think it's more for the people on the outside that haven't got that guidance. For the people on the outside that's kind of like, oh, I'm doing this, but I need to do this and I need to do that. And it's like, focus on that. Focus on that. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Simplify it, done. It's the same with businesses as well, isn't it, James? It's like when I get people come through, they want to, right, Ryan, I'm going to start with like 4 or 5 different stores. But why do you want 4 or 5 different stores? You could go 1 or 2 businesses as long as you've got the time to put in. But let's not go with 4 or 5. That's ridiculous.
That's a good way to start. Like, you know, people, particularly inner circle members that come in and say, right, I don't know whether to do B2B or B2C or drop shipping or white labeling. What should I do? And it's like, well, you inner circle, do B2B and B2C.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do both at the same time. If you do the same product, it's great because you can help. Like your B2C side will help to demonstrate the demand for your product when you go to your B2B leads and stuff like that. But yeah, when people come in, my plan is to have 4 or 5 different stores and I'm going to have that set up over the next 6 months. I'm like, what? Like, get 1 store running. Yeah. Get that profitable. When that's profitable and you're automating stuff, great. Start the next one so that you can make sure you devote the right amount of time to getting that next business up and running, making sure the foundations are right. Because otherwise, if this one goes wrong and this one goes through the roof, you'll be like, oh shit, where do I go from here? Like, which one do I do? What do I pick up? What do I run with? It's like 1 at a time. When it's running and it's profitable, you start the next one. When it's running and it's profitable, you start the next one, and you build your multiple income streams.
We're seeing a lot of members now with white and private labeling. You know, really trust the process and really take their time. And I think the difference is between drop shipping and white and private labeling is because with drop shipping, it's not their product. They're rushing the process because it's not my product. When it's white and private labeling, it's like, oh, this has to be perfect because I'm going to be spending X amount of money on this product. So I think that's why we're seeing so many more members do so well now because they're moving over to white and private labeling and they care a lot more. So when Anna says, right, you know, you need to be doing this, they focus on just this. Where when it's drop shipping, it's like, oh, how long until I get the business out there? How long until I make money? And you're going to join that same group of people that sit there and watch YouTube videos and try and make money and by buying stores on Fiverr for 30 quid in 2 hours. You know, like we have to do it properly, but we're seeing that a lot more now. And we're at the best point ever in change at the moment.
With the white and private label stuff, I've never had so many samples in my house. Like members keep kindly sending me. I love samples, by the way. Anyone watching?
Some say 100 quid away.
But our house is full of samples. And every time they come, they're really good. Like I've got 2 sitting in my house at the minute, and I was so excited by them.
I'm wearing Mark's pajamas, another member's socks, another member's cap.
They must be so excited because I'm excited. They must be so excited, and it's come and it's actually really good, and it's got their branding amazing. On, and like it's so exciting.
It's even that. It's not even just that as well. It's like the buzz that we get out of it. That we've helped them create that, and we've to the point that they are now holding this product in our hand.
Like
it's theirs.
Received a sample from a member on, was it Monday or Tuesday? Can't remember. It was Monday this week, 2 days ago. And this member joined us about 7-8 months ago. They're doing about 10K a month. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the product and I'm thinking, she started with no experience.
Yeah.
Only 6, 7, 8 months ago, no experience. Yeah. And this product I'm holding was built from nothing. From scratch. And she's doing 5 figures a month. Yeah. You sit there and you think to yourself, what the fuck? Yeah. Like it doesn't hit you until you're holding the product. Yeah. People can send me images and videos and I'm like, wow, that's amazing, fantastic. When you're holding it, you're like,
but you feel the quality.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're doing more money in a month than most high street shops are doing. Yeah. A month. And you started 7-8 months ago and these shops have been on them high streets for 10-15 years. Yeah. It's crazy. But once again, trusted the process, took one step as it comes, understood what it took to get from, I think that's the biggest thing, you have to understand what it takes to get from A to B. Yeah. So obviously this is why it's good to jump on Zooms with you, Anna, because when they jump on a Zoom with you, you're like, okay, if you're doing white labeling, these are kind of the steps to get to the end point where you're now marketing. Yeah. Rather than, we just kind of shortcut it, smash this, smash that, and we're done. Yeah. It starts making them understand the process because it's a mindset thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. You've got to train yourself into it. And like the more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. And then it's second nature. You understand what you need to do. You're not so trying to find stuff to do. We were talking about that earlier, the people that say, right, I've ordered my sample. What do I do now?
Yeah, I need to do something.
It's like, I need to do something. It's like, well, wait for your sample. But if there's stuff that you want to do, then keep researching into your niche, educate yourself in the niche, become that subject matter expert.
I can remember
when you want to start selling
with the product, with the teeth whitening, like I knew everything about like the ingredients, the legislation, like everything. I would just Google it like every night to make sure I was up to date. And that you have to almost be like engrossed in your product, don't you? And staying ahead of the game because there's always going to be new things implemented.
I think that's one of the things I love about like with the whole store building side of things. When it comes to a member comes and says, right, we need a store built. You're like, okay, what's the product? And then you go, I know nothing about this niche. But you've got to get the tone of voice right. You've got to get the copy right. You've got to get the language right. So the amount of research that you do within the niche to understand how you need to build this store is like, I know so much about shit I never knew before. Like just the most randomest stuff that just I never bought a product in that niche or was never a consumer in that area of the industry.
I was on the Zoom with a member the other day. It's like a grease something. I was like, I literally have no idea what that is, but we'll go with it.
But by using the experts and following the training and all that, it's that can be very simple to understand. A little fun fact, when I went to Vegas, I was speaking to someone in one of the casinos and he said to me that gambling is kind of at an all-time high out there in Vegas. And that kind of just backs up what we're saying here with everybody wants instant. They want quick fixes. They want to make money quickly. They want to, and it's just that generation we live in. So I think we've done amazing here at Change to help so many people change their life and help so many people make money online. When you look at, some of the members and some of the mindsets they come through with how long until I make money run? How long until this is done, Anna? And it's like, well, slow down. And then they've gone on to make money. They've completely switched their mindset. So it can be done. But I think you need to understand, I think what people need to take away from this podcast is understand that anything worth having takes time. That's a quote that will never die. Yeah. Because if you could go, right, Ryan, I bought a membership, I bought success, when do I make money? I've had messages before, Ryan, I bought a membership, when do I get paid? So you're sitting there and you're like, fuck me. All right, let me explain to this guy. He clearly don't understand. So I think you know that will never change. If it's going to take time if it's worth having. And also business is never going to change. It's always going to be a process. Yeah. So if you're chasing quick money, you'll be chasing quick money for the rest of your life. You'll never get that money. The more you chase, the more it runs away. Yeah. So if you actually just take your time and build the business correctly, money chases you. And this is what we see with the members, James. You see this all the time, especially Anthony, who isn't on this podcast. Now, if you take your time in the brand, if you're so involved in the journey, results just happen.
Yeah.
They just hit you.
Yeah.
You know, but the members that chase the results, where they're like, I need to start making money. I've just lost my job, or I've just had this unexpected bill. The money don't come.
No.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting here, like, do you know what? Let's focus on this. Anna, what I've completed that. What's the next step, Anna? James, okay, I'll go away and get that done, James. As you're like nailing away, cha-ching, that's how it comes through.
Yeah.
You could call it law of attraction or whatever, but trusting the process brings the results.
Yeah, if you chase it, you end up making decisions based on emotions and desperation, and that is where that's where you go wrong. It's like you say, it is follow the process. Just enjoy the journey that you're on, like the self development, the creating something new, and it will come.
Yeah.
Just patience. People need patience.
And 6 months can change your life, James.
Oh, hell yes.
How many members have we seen, no experience, come through 6 months, and they're making more than they're making in a 9 to 5 in fucking 6 months? Yeah. So I know people go, well, hang on a minute, you've done this whole podcast about it takes time. Yeah. But when we say it takes time, what we mean by that is it could take 6 months, it could take 12 months, you know, to see results, good results. Yeah. But it's not going to happen in 30 days. It's not going to happen in 1 week. It's not going to be, oh, guys, I've just bought a membership. When do I get paid? Not that type of, it's not a get rich quick scheme, as we always say. Guys, let's wrap that one up there. Thank you so much for coming through. Hopefully,
thank you.
Like I say, members understand this, but hopefully people on the outside get a bit more if they're trying to do it for free, you know, watching YouTube videos. But really appreciate it, and I'll see you in another one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers.